Let's grab the, what do you call it here? Let's grab the stream link, if we will. Where are we here? Stream options? Nope. Okay, we need to pause my own stream, of course, or else I don't know if it'll run the best. And I do believe that is what I'm looking for. And let's pop over to Twitter quickly and advertise the stream as you have to, or else you'll die in the coming months. The coming months? I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know how well this is going to go, to be 1010% honest. But yeah, we're gonna try it out. Okay? We're gonna see what we can do here. Right. So the weird idea that I had is that this was originally my podcast idea, right? One Man Booth is my big podcast magnum opus, if you will. And then I realized I'm kind of shit at podcasts, because I don't think I can bounce off myself for that long. Hey, Kempsa. I guess it's just Kemp. Or Kemps. I don't know. But hey, how you doing? So yeah, this is my weird kind of idea where I'm just going to hang out and I'm going to talk to the chat, and we're just going to talk about whatever the chat feels like talking about, because I think that will be healthy and fun. It will be a healthy relationship, and it won't be terrible in any way, and everyone will love each other. Alright, that's good to know. Kemps, I guess. We'll call you Kemps. Let's go with that. So yeah, hopefully we should get more people going in here, because we have the link out now. It's just, some people are going to be watching Raw, okay? So this might be slow here for a couple minutes here. That's okay, though. That's okay. That's not gonna matter totally. Hey, Goofy, how you doing? All right. Where did we leave the conversation about the UFC versus WWE type deal? And I'll quickly refresh the stream on that, the video on demand, I guess. I'll quickly explain to them what this conversation is about. So this pretty much started with me or whatever, bringing up the fact that Seth Rollins did indeed try to kill Dean Ambrose and Edge at one point, which is hilarious now that he's supposed to be a good guy, and Dean, trusts him again for some reason. Whatever, got into a bit of a talk about the product and stuff like that. I made the line, wrestling doesn't draw anyone, people show up for the cool factors, and the story keeps them around. Hey, Matthew, how you doing? So Goofy said, story makes a wrestling match without story is just fake fight. Who's around to watch fake fights when UFC is around? He said, people watch UFC to get a real narrative that feels raw. The only problem is that UFC tries more and more every single day to be like WWE. That's something I guess I want to expand on a little bit, because I definitely do feel that way. I feel that everything that the UFC does is trying to be WWE. If you look at the poster boy right now of the UFC, it's Conor McGregor. What is Conor McGregor? He's a mishmash of Ric Flair, and there's some other character right now who I'm not thinking of who has the other. He's like Ric Flair and Steve Austin fucking shoved in a blender and made to make out until they got some kind of child and they threw him out there and he was Irish for some reason. And that's the tone, I think, for everything in the UFC. Everything is, because when you think about it, the fighters have characters, right? The fighters have characters. There are storylines that people go through. The Ronda Rousey angle, where she was going to get a redemption, and she kind of just lost and then fizzled away, and they're like, oh, that's awkward. The UFC is mind-boggling to me because they try to have these angles, they try to have these stories, they try to have character arcs. They try to have goddamn character arcs where they can't control the results. So you either have to do two things. You either have to double down and you're a sport, okay? Like, these people, they are actual people, and you need to stop trying to bait the money, trying to bait the views, trying to bait the pay-per-view buys. Hold on one sec. Daniel says, look at New Japan Pro Wrestling, you don't need a storyline. They have sort of real fights, don't you think, Tucker? The New Japan, though, the story, though, comes from inside the fight, right? Like, it's the New Japan, I think I said, which is hilarious. New Japan does have story. It's full of story. New Japan is pretty damn good at story most of the time because their story is not as punch you in the face as WWE's is. When WWE does a story, this is the bad guy, this is the good guy, they're going to fight now because that's what happens. Good guys fight bad guys. With New Japan, though, and I will say WWE too, but most of the time, WWE is, since they have a lot more promos and angles, stuff like that, they're allowed to punch you in the face. They're allowed to go, look at how terrible this guy is. He wants to, like, blow people up. And, like, the other guy's like, nah, that's not cool. That's illegal. And the other guy goes, I'll fight you for it. And then they fight. Jesus. New Japan, though, is able to tell stories through matches. Of course, you can look at things on the surface, like Goofy says here in the chat, Okada Tanahashi. On the surface, it's this young, upcoming star taking on a guy who's been established for such a long time. Goofy, that was intentionally bad voice acting. You know, you have that on the surface. But each individual match has a different story. One of the arcs that necessarily I haven't seen, but I've heard a lot of people talk about, is Shibata's arc. From last year, where he needed to adapt. He needed to change his style in order to start competing against certain people. Hey, T-Man, how you doing? And that's the most interesting thing for me, I guess, as a wrestling fan. It's no longer just looking at story as something that, you know, occurs on, I don't want to say occurs on the screen. It's not something that occurs in... It's not something that needs to be spelt out. Storytelling is at its best when it's slight and everything in it, maybe not everything, but certain angles of it can be interpreted. One of the best things I think I've ever heard about Star Wars is that at every angle, you look at Star Wars. You can turn it this way, you can turn it that way, you can flip it upside down. You could look at it through a telescope. You could look at it through a microscope. You could look at it through a magnifying glass. You could look at it through the other side of binoculars. Make it smaller. You're going to find a different meaning. And those... One sec, sorry. When will you name this thing to a half a man's booth show? Because you're only half a man that I am. Oh, man, Goofy. Heel promo. And that's something that in wrestling is hard to do. And I can't think off the top of my head where, of course, there's a point where everything can be flipped and looked at. But, of course, I think that's also because I think Star Wars in certain ways gets lucky in certain places, that things are as obscure as they are, where you can interpret things like that. But in wrestling, it's really cool to be able to look at things and be able to decide for yourself what that means. What's going through the heads of the wrestlers. Because with wrestlers, when you don't have an angle-based product, you're going to rely on really two things to get across who your characters are. You're going to go to the matches. Well, first of all, you're going to go to the commentators. But the way that I watch New Japan when I can, and the way I would suggest for everyone, is watching with Japanese comms, because I think that anybody who they get on the goddamn American comms is insufferable. Like, Don Callis loses his voice halfway through the goddamn show. Jim Ross butchers half the goddamn show. Kevin Kelly's annoying as hell, and I can't take him seriously. which sucks because I think he's quite decent actually. I just can't take him seriously. Love Shibata got me into New Japan with that match against Ishii at Wrestle Kingdom. I think Tomohiro Ishii is my favorite wrestler. I really do. And that's because I don't think there's a single Ishii match I have not enjoyed. And that's not ratings and stuff like that, because I do ratings a little bit, but Ishii, there's a fun to his matches, and it's not a fun where it's goofy, silly, whatever happens. It's this, just, it's a fight. It's weird because it's kind of like what UFC tries to do, I guess, where it's a fight, but it's got a story to it. It makes sense. You can clearly see what's going through the minds of different people. But with Ishii matches, there's a rawness to it, something that, of course, doesn't translate very well into other New Japan matches, let alone like the different product styles. And maybe that's just me trying to compensate and trying to say in some way that doesn't make me sound like a caveman. And I'm trying to say, Ishii hit hard, Ishii make me feel good, Ishii make loud smack noise. But I think that's it, actually. It's weird. I can't necessarily explain to you why I like Tomohiro Ishii so much, I just kind of do. Ishii versus Omega for the US title at the G1, wow. I haven't seen that. Nowadays with wrestling, I am more inconsistent than ever. Because I think I talk a good game, I don't back it up. I think I talk like I watch a lot of wrestling. Typically, I see a couple matches from people, and I know what I think of them from there. But of course, that's not all people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I watch tons of different things. I've watched most of the G1 thus far. I think I've only missed like the past couple nights, just because I've kind of gotten out of a groove here. But yeah, Matthew here says, Tomohiro Ishii versus Shibata was my first New Japan Pro Wrestling match, and I thought both men died. Yeah, my first match was, Ishii versus Hanma, from last year, and, Putty actually showed me that one. He just kind of, that was when we were doing, I think you can find it on his channel, it's like the Pointless Wrestling Awards or something like that, and I think we only did 2 nights of it, and the rest of it he just kind of did on his own. Didn't record it, but I think we recorded the first 2 nights, and the first episode, hey Soja, is just, it's basically just me gushing about the fact that I just watched the most insane thing I think I'd ever seen in my life, and that was Ishii Hanma. Putty lured you to the dark side. He kind of did, yeah. Because I was very anti-Japan. Like, it was like a gimmick, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, I just had never seen a New Japan match, and I was jokingly always like, I'll never watch New Japan. I'm never doing the smarky New Japan thing. And I don't always watch New Japan, and I still think that people who solely watch New Japan, I think people who watch solely WWE, I think you need a well-balanced diet of everything in wrestling. Something that I don't even get. Like, I don't watch a lot of stuff anymore at all. Becomes scarily casual, but I know everything. It's weird, because like I call myself a casual, but I'm not, right? Because I know things, I know what's happening, I know who's who, I know what's good, I know what's not, I know who does what, I know where things happen when, I understand the stories and the characters and how things work. I just don't ever sit down and watch a Monday Night Raw, a Tuesday Night SmackDown. I don't watch a TV show anymore. Goofy says, how's that script going? What script? Because I've come up with many different ideas for different weird movies and books and shit like that I would want to write over the past couple of weeks. Would you ever give me credit for creating the biggest brand split series ever in TW community? No. By giving the idea to you guys in the comments. I don't remember that. But you might have. I don't remember totally. I don't remember what the hell gave us the idea. Matthew says Naito versus Ibushi from G1 Climax Night 1 was amazing. Yeah, it was really quite good, yeah. I don't remember what I rated it, and I don't totally like to go off ratings. I like to just kind of say I liked it or I didn't, but I definitely liked it. I think I went probably around a 4 for it. Who would you say is the best TW YouTuber that's up and coming? Oh, geez. Speaking with me being a casual, I don't totally watch TW that much anymore. Like, at all. And that's not to say that, you know, oh man, like, nobody's good or something like that. It's not. You look anywhere nowadays, you can find a good series. I'm probably the one person who's not putting out a good series, I guess, and that would just be because I don't think CZCW gets that many of the casual viewers, which is, you know, more than 90% of my audience, which is kind of sad, I guess, at least for me. But I'm enjoying what I'm doing with CZCW. But I will probably have to branch out into something kind of mainstream again, something real world, I guess. Because I don't totally care about the views, right? Like, I don't do everything just for the views. But there are certain things that... How about this, alright? When the channel stopped growing, it was fine. And the channel didn't regress at all. I still like what we're doing with the channel and stuff like that. It's just, I think I need, I need to put out some kind of real world content to give something back to you guys. But I kind of needed a break to do my own thing, I guess, because I had just, with the brand split series, I had been able to, I guess, address myself creatively somewhat, but I wasn't in it from the start. And so that kind of restricted me. And I think that WrestleMania episode, and specifically the part with Apollo, Vince, and, oh god, I can't think of it, Owens, is probably my best work ever. Which is something that I probably say about everything. But it's probably my best work ever, and I watched that WrestleMania video again, I think, last week. And it brought a goddamn smile to my face because of how good it was. And I loved that. I loved doing that. That was so fun. Yeah. The CZCW stuff has been really fun to do because I've had to build everything from the ground up, and I really like that. Anyways, what do we have here? Daniel says that pile driver from the top, OMG, referring to Naito Ibushi. That was pretty crazy. I was like, Jesus. Soja says, I'm actually enjoying the CCCW series. Thank you, Soja. Thank you. I mean, I don't expect everybody to enjoy it or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like, oh man, you gotta watch my content, because why would YouTube TW type deal exist if it wasn't... Why would YouTube exist as a platform if I was like, you have to watch all my stuff? But like, it's good, you know, to hear that people enjoy some of my stuff where I feel like I'm more in control over the characters. Matthew says, who do you want to win the G1? Mine is Naito. I don't know, totally. I don't really know who I want to win. I'm kind of just hanging out and watching it, to be honest. I couldn't tell you everybody in the blocks right now. That's how kind of casual I'm being with it. I'm just kind of watching what people are telling me is good. I won't lie. Goofy says some weird things. He talks about himself becoming broken. When will you start to watch Progress again? I started watching Progress again at the start of this summer, like the start of this month, and then I just kind of stopped again. It's weird. I watched like 5-ish events in a row, and then I like just stop for some reason. I get out of the flow. So just says, I'm mostly into those types of series with the non-real characters. I'm really enjoying yours. Thank you. I definitely think I've taken a lot of ideas from different things. And I think you need that in storytelling, self-storytelling. You know, you need to take elements from a lot of things, and that's something that, and I'll shout out Putty again. for that. He really kind of showed me that, like, no, dude, you don't have to make everything up on your own. Nobody makes everything up on their own. That's stupid. That's a stupid thought to have. And so the more you borrow, but the more you work your own elements into things, give things your own spin, the better it can be. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I sit with storytelling, where you can take elements from different things, of course, but you need to just have enough of your own twist on it in order to make it work. Like a gimmick. Think about like a gimmick in wrestling, where I'll use Bobby Roode as an example, even though I don't totally enjoy all of his work and stuff like that. But Bobby Roode is just your generic, I'm a cocky heel character. But his twist on it is the glorious thing. And it's a good twist on it because people latched onto that. People love that. I'm trying to think of other examples. I'm trying to think right now. Like, I could probably think of another example, but I'm just being a bit of an idiot right now, and I can't think. Anyways, I'll just move on now. Daniel says the Raw main event is on now. Thank you for helping me get through it. No problem, no problem. Matthew says, do you watch ROH? I don't watch ROH. I used to for a little bit until kind of I realized it's not that great, to be honest. And that really doesn't have anything to do with anyone. That kind of just has the whole state of the booking and the fact that everybody jobs to the New Japan guys once they come in. And, of course, that's led to my favorite joke, it being New Japan Pro Wrestling Dojo, America, or whatever it is. So, you know, it's pretty fun. Hold on. Goofy says, will you do a Crim's Toy Show TW save? Nah, I'm good. I've got nothing against people who enjoy Crim's Toy Show. Definitely. It scratched a certain itch for me a few years ago. But you know, I've kind of outgrown it, just because it kind of got stupid, I guess, in my opinion. I outgrew some of the humor, okay? How about that? Soja, thank you for the ongoing support there. That's all I'll say in response to that one comment. Goofy says, when will your dog rudely interrupt your vids again? I remember when your dog interfered on all of your streams. Yeah, so I ended up moving, right? And now I'm kind of, I've moved, I've changed location, and now actually when I have my door shut and stuff like that, you can't hear the dogs when they bark. So the dogs will bark sometimes in videos, and you can't hear anymore. It's really fun. It's almost like, you know, I live in an actual goddamn house or something. Thoughts on WWE's use of Nakamura? I think it's fine, to be honest. You know, I'm not one of the... I mean, him going to lose to John Cena tomorrow, or I guess today, depending on where you live, isn't the best, okay? It's not the best that I would do to somebody who I'm trying to groom into somebody who could be a main eventer, assuming that's what they want to do with him, because I think they see that he has drawing power. But yeah, for me, it's all right. I think it's fine enough. I don't hate it. I have no strong feelings on it. Okay, I think it's fine. All right, how about that? Let's go. Let's settle it with that. Okay. So just says, if you were the guys who make TW, what would you do to make it better for a possible TW 2019? Okay, I like that. Thank you, Soja. That's a really good question. I would do something that I've always kind of had a gripe with in the TW series, and I think people know I have a gripe with this. And it's the popularity system and how that really works. With my popularity system, there would be two different types. There'd be recognizability, and there would be, I'm trying to think of a better word aside from just crowd reaction. Maybe overness. Maybe it would be overness and recognizability. Recognizability is going to be things like, John Cena. It also, something that we need to address here is we need to decide what popularity means. Does popularity address an like crowd wrestling audience, or does it like speak to an out of crowd wrestling audience? Because in my opinion, this solves this issue. We go with we go with recognizability, and recognizability becomes on the street. How many people are gonna know who this guy is? And that would be John Cena's probably like an 80, 90 type deal in recognizability, because especially now with all the goddamn memes, people know who John Cena is. People are going to know probably who Rey Mysterio is. They know there are certain figures, Hulk Hogan, certain different kind of figures who transcend wrestling, and they need to get a high recognizability rating. Then we need to have crowd reaction. Crowd reaction is going to be the pop they receive in ring. And the other reason why I've created this kind of two-part system is because recognizability will not change match to match. Just because John Cena loses to Samoa Joe, let's go with that, it doesn't mean that people care less about John Cena. It doesn't mean that people stop knowing who John Cena is. John Cena is still John Cena. Even though Hulk Hogan is old as hell, everybody still knows Hulk Hogan. Everybody still knows Steve Austin. It doesn't matter how many times he lost to The Rock. It doesn't matter how many times The Rock lost to Steve Austin. It doesn't matter how many times John Cena lost to The Rock. They're all the same. Just because you lose to someone does not mean I forget what you look like. And I would think that everybody in WWE would at least have a decently high rating and recognizability. The crowd reaction, though, thing can be different, because then that can allow guys like, I'm trying to think of guys who get really good reactions, like Pentagon, guys like Adam Cole, to compete on levels with John Cena. Because John Cena, right, is the most polarizing figure in WWE history, or whatever they like to regurgitate every single time about how it works, about whatever the reaction is. But he gets a reaction. And so does Adam Cole. And so does Tanahashi. But in America, people don't know what Tanahashi looks like. But if Tanahashi shows up in a WWE ring, people are going to go mental. And so I think that's the system that kind of fixes it. There's kind of like your in-ring, people who know wrestling thing, and your people outside of wrestling thing. I don't know how they necessarily work and balance into ratings in the game, but that's my idea. Matthew says, thanks for helping me get through my school year last year. No problem, Matthew. Always great to hear stuff like that. So just says, what do you think of rival bids and how easy they are in TW? I mean, TW is not a perfect game, because if it was a perfect game, there wouldn't be a reason to buy the next one. Simple as that. Kind of just how it is. TW is always going to be kind of weird, because Adam Ryland's got to make bank next time he puts out a game. Goofy says, have you played Wrestling Revolution 3D? Yes, but not for the PC. I played it on the iPad when it first came out or whatever. I paid money for it like a kind of mark. And I definitely think it's alright, but it's not as well functioning as wrestling, what the hell was it? Booking Revolution, like the paper one. God damn it, why the hell can't I think of it? Was it Booking Revolution, and then Booking Empire? No, I don't know. I'm being an idiot right now. On the iPad type deal, it's Booking. Well, there's the 2D version, the 3D version. I think the 2D version is better than the 3D version when it comes to this newer crop. But I think that the older version, whatever it is, the Redux one or whatever, is better than all of them. I think the 2010 Redux one or whatever is the best one. Wrestling Empire, thank you. Yeah, Booking Empire, it's the best one. So just says, what do you think of Cena being in the Transformer movie? I don't have much thoughts on that, really. He's going to be in there. It's going to be meh. Hold on, I gotta see here. Goofy says, does the popularity of a wrestler go up if the wrestler's done a film, or is the wrestler going to shoot a film for a hiatus gimmick 2016? I think it does currently in 2016, but I don't know. It could. I don't know. Did you get featured on that Grey Dog software gimmick? I might have. To be honest, I stopped looking at it after the first week or so, because there were only about 3 guys on there, and I kind of just forgot about it, I guess. Let me find it, actually. And I will quickly take a look here on my phone, and I'll be able to tell you guys if I was featured on or not. What do we have here? Matthew says, how do you feel about the dive comment by Rip Rogers? I mean, to be honest, I don't have really any opinion on that. It's weird. I don't have opinions on a lot of things, but in this situations, I definitely feel like Rip does 1010% have a place that he's coming from. You know what I mean? He definitely has a point, and there are some workers who do work like that, and it kind of just breaks down to fundamentally what you think wrestling is. Do you think wrestling is a story? Do you think wrestling is supposed to be like a sport? Do you think wrestling is supposed to be just as entertaining as possible? Everybody's going to have a different thought on that, and so I think everybody's going to have a different idea, really, of what wrestling is. And the Rip Rogers comment is exactly what I would expect from somebody who wrestled in the era of Rip Rogers. It's kind of just what I expected. Yeah, no, I wasn't featured in the Grey Dog thing, but they only featured 3 people, so I'm not upset. They only featured Total Team Talk, they only featured Minimum Wage Gaming, and Let's Play TW 2K. So yeah, whatever. I'm not upset. I'm not heartbroken. Like, nobody got featured, so yeah, whatever. So just says, what would you say is the best gimmick in DW? Any gimmick is the best gimmick, as long as you decide it's the best gimmick. Don't you know? Isn't that such a lovely thing? Minimum Wage Gaming deserved it, though. He does. All the guys on there deserve it. But it would have been nicer to use it to expose smaller YouTubers, and that's kind of a problem that I kind of get into with certain other things. But I think that the more you give to smaller guys, the better you make the community in general. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what to say. I don't want to say, oh man, I've been blessed with like this ability, man. No, not this ability. Like I don't want to say, oh man, I've been blessed with so much success, because I mean, in my mind, has my YouTube career been successful? 1000%. Like I genuinely was shocked when I got 100 subscribers, and now I'm sitting on like 725, and I still kind of just can't believe it. But I think everybody, I definitely think, of course, that you need to shout out the bigger guys. But I need to think you also need to shout out other people, and that doesn't go for, I don't think that doesn't go for people like me, because I don't see myself as a smaller TW channel anymore. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm like a goddamn egomaniac or something like that, but I feel like there are smaller people who deserve it, who deserve shout-outs more than I do, where I am right now. Where I kind of have my own audience and stuff like that, where that type of thing could be used to help other people get on their feet and get going. Because I don't, it was interesting, because I think I've said this a couple times, but when I came into TW, there wasn't very many people doing it. When I came into TW, I know there was Rick, I know there was, which is Total Team Talk, excuse me, which I knew there was 2K, which is Let's Play TW, and I think that might have been about it that I knew of. And of course, I apologize if I'm forgetting anybody. There might have been Jeremy, which is what we call the German TW player. I totally forget what his channel name is. I feel terrible, but I know he was doing it before I showed up. But really, that was it. And so I kind of showed up, and I started making videos. And well, yeah, but Goofy, right now what I'm talking about is that like the people who were doing it before me, because Gunter started after me. Like, Dave started after me, not very long after me, but he started after me. Ben started after me. All guys now that have stopped doing TW on YouTube. Putty wasn't doing TW before me, but he was doing YouTube long before me. Long before I'd even thought of the notion of doing YouTube. Like, I'm trying to think right now, like, 370, I think, came in after me or around me. I don't really remember. But I was kind of, I was part of this kind of, like, I don't know what to call it. Is it like an initial wave? Because was there a second wave? But I know I was there and part of the big wave where, I don't want to say TW exploded, but TW kind of just, the community formed, really, I think, around that point. Because before, like, people got views and stuff like that, and I think Nick still had over, like 1,000 subs. But, like, all of a sudden, people showed up, and people started to watch TW regularly, I want to say, and it was really interesting to see something, because I wasn't sure if there was going to be an audience, and that's kind of why I started doing TW, because I thought, like, right now, I'll let you in on some backstage business stuff. I started doing TW because I like the ability to tell my own stories. It was wrestling, and I thought it was big enough where there would be an audience, but small enough where I could make an impact. And look at me now. I was correct. That's just kind of my thoughts, and kind of how it worked out, I guess. Hold on, I gotta see what else I missed here. What's your opinion on... Oh, no, wait, hold on. I'm going to miss something. How do you feel about the cruiserweights? I think it's weird. Again, I'm going to quote somebody who I have tremendous respect for, and I think they're a great creator in general. You might know him. Wrestling is in Wrestling. Max Landis. Who I fucking adore, literally. Like, this man is so smart. I tremble at the fact he's so smart. When you put the cruiserweights on their own island, it becomes less important, because it makes it feel like the things that happen on their parts of the show don't affect everyone else. When you think about wrestling as a world, right? When John Cena goes out and fights Randy Orton, and so let's say he loses to Randy Orton, all of a sudden Randy Orton just beat John Cena. That's going to have an effect on everyone, not just Randy Orton, not just John Cena, not just everybody in the immediate vicinity. That's going to have an effect on everyone. With the cruiserweights, when you put them in their own box, everything that they do stops mattering to everyone else. So you need to incorporate them, but you need to let them do their own thing. It's weird. It also doesn't help that, I guess, their characters haven't been fleshed out. They were all brought in a pack. Nobody got any development. They didn't care to build around anyone. The belts just kind of been hot potatoing until it landed on Neville, who was already established, and then nobody could be established around him. The entire thing's a fucking shit show, but they're going to just keep doing it. What's your opinion on Elias Sampson's name to just Elias? I will continue calling him Elias Sampson. Literally, like, it's just what they put on the goddamn show, so it's whatever you want to call him. I still call Rusev Alexander Rusev, because that's his name. What would you say is the best talent on the indies for people to sign? The best young talent on the indies? Damn. I'm trying to think right now. Who is the best talent on the indies? Well, the thing is that a lot of the really good talent has already been scooped up. Come on, Tuck. Who is the best worker who works for, like, an indie type kind of company, who isn't signed to any major kind of deal. I want to go with I mean, if you want to go with this, I would go with Jay Lethal, I guess, if you would consider ROH an indie company, because I kind of would now. I'd consider TNA an indie company. But yeah. Okay, continuing, going down. Holy shit. Because I'm getting behind a little bit. I liked when the first generation was around, some dope-ass content. Really was. Actually, a lot before a lot of people started showing up, because a lot of the stuff was fresh, right? That's the only thing. So I'm going to take a drink here. One of the main problems here, that at least I'm feeling kind of with TW, is I feel like everything's been done. And it's just kind of mildly disturbing for me on a creative level, where I just kind of feel like, what do I feel like? I feel like I can't go anywhere and do anything that hasn't been done before, which is wrong. Because I did something that people had done before with Putty, but we had done it in a way that nobody else did. And I think now it has to be more about execution than it does base ideas. You have to go into something that people already do, and you need to do it differently. You need to, in order to make an impact right now in TW type stuff, to make something really cool, you need to go in and do something that people haven't done before. And it's something that I didn't do with my TNA series. With my original TNA series, I didn't do anything. I just played the goddamn game, and I'm so infuriated with that, because that's not what I wanted to do now. I want to tell stories. Anyways, Goofy says, are you cool with Dylan? Me and Dylan we have agreed to not be uncool, but we are not necessarily cool, I guess. We just kind of went our own ways. Originally there was a little bit of a thing, but actually recently, I guess, like a couple months ago, might have been only 2 or 3 now. We patched it up, I guess, and kind of went on our own ways. Both kind of feeling that, it was kind of broken now. The magic was lost. But no, it was just kind of done. What do you think about Brock leaving with Heyman after SummerSlam? Yeah, sure, Brock can leave, whatever, as long as he loses to Roman first. Heyman, though, I'd love for Heyman to stick around. I really would. I'd love for Heyman to do anything, really. I'd love for him to go on comms. I'd love for him to be a GM figure. I'd love for him to do anything, really. But I think he still has the heat and stuff with Vince and all that, and he's only really around to be Brock's guy. So, whatever. Goofy says, Cruiserweight division is an old format. It was on the highest when WCW was around. It was on its highest when WCW was around, because very much like what I said with TW, but differently, I guess, in the same way. It did something nobody had done before. Nobody had just thrown little guys out there and let them wrestle. And people ate it up. Like how people talk about the women's revolution, do we call it the superstars revolution? But we've gotten the same match for 3 years and 6 women tags. Yeah, kinda. It's weird because the women's division is fine, I guess. It's just kind of become a thing again, which is good, because it should just be a thing. There shouldn't be any spectacle around it. There shouldn't have been a revolution. Because from day one, you should have treated women like you treat everybody else. It always should have just been, they're wrestlers. We shouldn't have needed to go through this thing where it was all about women empowerment and the fact that, they can be wrestlers too. Because from day one, it always should have been, they are wrestlers too. Okay. Goofy says, I remember when Putty got pissed at people in the live stream for pushing Vampire in the chat. Those live streams were dank. Yeah, I wish Putty would live stream again. I asked him about it a little while ago, and he said maybe later. like maybe later on down the road. But definitely, I miss those live streams. They were awesome. Like, not even being on them, just hanging out in the chat was awesome. Dylan got a huge push in this community when he arrived at TW, but he disappeared faster. Dylan chose himself to disappear. Dylan decided to disappear. All right, nobody made him disappear. He didn't get depushed or something like that. He decided himself to disappear. Do you think that Braun Strowman going down to his knees to beg for mercy from Miss Jarrett is true? Sounds like total bullshit to me. I don't care, to be honest. I think it's stupid. Yeah, like, how about this? Do I think it's real or not real? I don't think it's real, but, yeah. What do you think is the company that more people should notice but haven't yet? Ooh, geez, that's tough. Because most of the things that are good, people watch. My favorite thing is when hot products exist, because it's always so great. Everything's so fun. And there hasn't really been a hot product since SmackDown this time last year. Don't worry about it, Soja. It's okay. All right, it's gone now. His channel, it's gone. Hold on here. I'm just trying to. Do you think of the Braun Strowman going down to his knees, begging for mercy? Just sure it was true. Yeah, I don't know necessarily what company isn't getting the thing that everybody should notice, really, because typically when companies start doing well, people start to notice them. If I wanted to say right now something that I really enjoyed that I think other people should watch, Evolve. Alright, so Goofy says, do you need a sex appeal in the late 90s competition from other TV shows like South Park Stern Show on video were edgy, and Dewey wouldn't have been able to compete with them with a cartoonish product? You don't need a cartoonish product, though. You can go in and you can make everything real, and you can make it about real people and real fighters and real characters and have real stories that matter and have characters that matter, and you still don't have to treat women like they're fucking sex objects. If you want to have a character like Miss Kitty, I guess, where her entire gimmick is, I like being a sex object, you know, you got to find somebody who's going to play that role properly. They did. And she should have been one, if not the only type of character who did things like that. That's all I'm saying. What company would make the best cartoon? It's WWE because they're already appealing to all these damn kids. No, I would go with what would be the best cartoon? I mean, when you say best cartoon, it's easy to say. Even though I haven't liked their stuff since season 1, it's easy to say Lucha Underground because they basically are a cartoon. They're basically just a TV show about wrestling, and that's always fun. I don't know. I think you need to go somewhere with crazy-ass characters that probably... Actually, yeah, Goofy just mentioned Chikara. I would say Chikara, probably, because they do the craziest stuff with their characters. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with that, I guess. A lot of this has been wrestling. I do other things. For people who don't know, watching the stream, watching the video on demand, I do other things. It's not just wrestling. Did you hear that Lucha Underground ran out of money? Wouldn't be shocked, but I also doubt that because people, I think there was enough demand for them to always have money. Or actually, wasn't it a thing where Lucha Underground was always out of money and they just kept going somehow? Yeah, so never mind. Sorry, I was going to ask something, but I don't think it's important enough. Okay. Browsing through Twitter now. We know you have a Fantastic Batman series, so I'm wondering, are you doing all of the games? I will at least be doing Arkham City, to be honest. I've been wondering more and more if I want to do Arkham Knight at all. Because, to be honest, I just didn't enjoy Arkham Knight. Because I thought about playing through it again, and I was like, yeah, that'll be fine, whatever. It's the newest game. It wasn't that bad. And yeah, I guess it wasn't that bad, but there was just enough in it to where I didn't totally enjoy it. I didn't enjoy... I'll tell you this, alright? I didn't enjoy the fucking crazy amounts of fucking jump scares in that game. And actually playing through Arkham Asylum, I think that Arkham Asylum is actually really similar in terms of how many, like, jump scares there are. Because playing through that, my god, I've almost had a heart attack, like, 3 times now. Which is funny, because I'm super easily scareable. It's just, what do I want to say? It's just kind of, I guess, I'm embarrassed with how easily scareable I am. Which is why I try to play it off like I'm not scared most of the time. Like the Scarecrow sections. Not even like the Scarecrow sections, because they're just platforming sections. But like some of the build-up to the Scarecrow section, at least the first one, I had to talk over it, so I didn't freak myself out. Like I'm a fucking little child, apparently, where I can't handle anything that's slightly scary. But yeah, really, with Arkham Knight, I don't want to do the fucking Batmobile sections again, to be honest, man. I don't want to do that shit. Like, God, it was painful enough one time. I had to play the fucking shitty fight with Red Hood again. I have to go through the goddamn, like, Joker first-person shooter section, which, to be honest, was cool, but it was kind of stupid. Like, there's just enough stuff in that to where I go... but I feel like I will have to. Because I feel like I have to end out the trilogy, right? Like it sucks too, because I would have just played Arkham Origins. If Arkham Origins was backwards compatible or something like that, I would have totally fucking played Arkham Origins. Are you kidding me? Arkham Origins, I like it more now than ever because it was a Batman game. It was the Batman Arkham series more than Arkham Knight was. It had elements of you being a detective. It had elements of... It had really cool boss fights. The Bane boss fight. The Copperhead boss fight. I'm trying to think of other boss fights. The Deathstroke boss fight. Oh my god. It's probably the best boss fight in the history of the goddamn series. Unless you want to call, like, kind of like the Scarecrow section's boss fights. I wouldn't necessarily. But maybe you could. Okay, so... Goofy says they ran out of money. Network had to push the mid-season break back. Really wouldn't... Which is weird, surprisingly, because I feel like they would always have money, unless realistically they are starting to outpace themselves. You know what I mean? Like, they are starting to... like, with Lucha Underground, unless people have really stopped watching, which I doubt they have, I always thought that place would have money. Will you ever do LA Noire if it's backwards compatible on Xbox One? It's possible, I guess. Like, I don't own LA Noire right now. I don't own it, I'll tell you that much. But I have definitely seen enough on it to know that it was very good. It was very good and should have sold more. And I don't know. There's a chance, I guess, that maybe I could play it, but I probably won't. Most underrated Batman character. Most underrated Batman character? I mean, I have to go with... I have to go with the Riddler, just because Riddler's my favorite Batman villain. And I've only come to this realization over the past couple, like, weeks. Since I guess I started playing Arkham Asylum again, I really started to, delve myself into story stuff, and then I started delving myself into Batman stuff, and then I kind of combined the two, and I was like, what? And I really do think the Riddler is the best character, just because it's interesting because he himself, he wants to get caught, right? He needs to get caught, because if he doesn't get caught, who does he do everything for? He's kind of got the similar thing to the Joker in that case, where he does everything for Batman, but he also does it for himself, because the Edward Nygma character needs Batman, because he needs somebody to mentally equal him, or at least mentally surpass him, I guess, in the case of Batman, if you want to go by certain things. But he needs that, or else he will go, like, actually insane. Because, like, he's just crazy, but without Batman, without the idea that there was somebody on his intellectual level out there, he would full on go, like, insane. Best Batman villain of all time. I mean, best Batman villain, it's the Joker. You can't argue with that, I guess. He is the Batman villain. What games will you get this year? I'm trying to think right now, because I get a lot of games that I don't totally, like, I don't want to say advertise. I'll tell you what games I've gotten this year, what games I know 1000% I'm getting. I'm going to get NBA 2K18. I'm going to get WWE 2K18. I bought Injustice 2 this year. I bought Return to Arkham. I bought, no, I think that's it for this year. Is it? Yeah, I do believe that's it for this year. Injustice, Return to Arkham. I plan on buying NBA 2K18, WWE 2K18. I'm trying to think of other games that I know I want to get. Oh man. What's his name? Shadow of War? Shadow of War, I want to say. I don't know. It's the Shadow of Mordor sequel, the like Assassin's Creed ripoff, pretty much, but with Lord of the Rings, so it's cool shit. I recommend you do the 9000 verse since it has a lot of Batman stuff. I thought about doing the 9000 verse, and that actually gives me a crazy ass idea for the 9000 verse. Something right now that I'm actually going to jot down very quickly. Sorry about this. Okay, jotted that down quickly. Sorry. Okay, so Heath Ledger Joker is the best Batman villain on a movie. I think he's the best superhero villain in a movie ever. I think he's probably one of the best villains ever. The Heath Ledger Joker performance is entrancing. And it's interesting because Heath Ledger, somebody who I thought up to that point was just another, like, you know, guy for, like, girls to crush on and stuff like that. It changed my perception on him and what his work is. And it literally made me form such a, I don't know what to call it, such a love for his work that I went out and I tried to watch as many Heath Ledger performances as I could. That I currently had at the time, and I don't think I had very many. I don't think I had any, actually. But I know that Heath Ledger has, like, he was always a really damn good actor. But the Joker was everything. Like, it was everything. It was exactly what you wanted, and it has not only reshaped the Joker and what it means to write the Joker character. It changes how to write any kind of character. And it not only reshapes what every single retelling of the Joker has been like since then, it has straight up remolded what the core of the Joker character is. The Alfred line, you know, some men just want to watch the world burn. Like, that is not just one line that we talk about every once in a while because it was kind of cool. That's a line that will fundamentally describe the Joker forever, as long as him and Batman and all these different characters continue to exist. That is the line that will define his entire existence forever. And I wouldn't be surprised if in a few, like a decade, 2 decades from now, we're going to have a throwback to that line where somebody's going to say something similar to that, and it'll be a nice hint to it, the iconic line. And it's a line that perfectly sums up the Joker character, a character that was written so well for so long, and yet we didn't have that explanation for him, I guess. Would you be open to maybe doing some NBA stuff? I would love to do some NBA stuff. Are you kidding me? It's definitely something I played with early on in kind of switching up my channel from being only TW to being primarily TW with some other stuff going on the side. The original idea was something that I don't know if it was too ambitious for me at the time, but come 2K18, I'm going to try it again. And if it comes out alright, then you guys will see it. If I don't think it comes out alright, then you won't see it. That's all I have to say about that. Goofy's talking about his New Japan stuff, something. He currently has 6 events in his 06 save. Wrestle Kingdom, New Japan Anniversary, the only events that aren't tournaments. Does this sound okay? New Japan is on tour for 10 months out of the year. I don't know. I'm probably not the best guy to ask about that. Goofy asks, what is your favorite Mafia movie? Jeez. I haven't watched... I couldn't name you right now a Mafia movie that I've watched. Ever. And I'm sure I have. I just probably don't consider it one. Or I can't think of it right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's either... It's one of those two things. We're going to, hold on here. I'm just reading some things right now on Twitter. Sorry. Have you seen The Godfather or Goodfellas? I haven't. It's saddening that I have not seen either of those, realistically. Not gonna lie, we may end the episode here. It's weird because I know we've only got about an hour and kind of weird ending to it, but I think we've kind of hit our emotional climax, I guess, if you shall. Oh man, some random guy, I don't know who that is, asks me how big is your... God damn it, Jacob, you spelled wiener wrong, you goddamn idiot. It's bigger than yours, I guess. Haha, ha ha ha. I'm gonna slap you through your Martin Tuck. You better watch him after this stream. I probably should, yeah. Rappy says, climax. How big is Batista's dick? Big enough. I think that might do it, actually, for this. I don't know. Is it even an episode? I don't know. I'm not going to answer that one, Goofy. Actually, that's concerning, man. If you don't know yourself, you might want to go, so bigger than 3 inches. Yeah, let's go with that, Jacob. Let's go with that. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up right there, to be honest. I want to thank everyone for coming out, for giving me these questions. I hope this is decently... this was decently entertaining for a bit. Like, I don't know. Whatever. I'm going to throw up the video on demand. We're going to see how it goes. We're going to see if people like it. We're going to see the feedback. Please, if you watched all the way through this video, the after whatever video, please do. Leave your thoughts on it if you want to see another one, if you hate me, if you want me to die, if you want me to explode, if you want me to just not breathe anymore. Do indeed let me know. Yeah, Goofy, I don't know, I could name it a Q&A, but I don't totally want to name it a Q&A, realistically, because it's not like a Q&A, like, it's not a conventional Q&A, it's just kind of me sitting on here and shooting the shit, so I don't know. Love you too, Jacob. Thank you guys so much for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Silly Tuck, signing out.